What the hell is going on with Age of Empires 4?
Are the developers killing Age of Empires 4? This is a question posed by Fitzbro in his most recent YouTube video. An interesting question. I've got some thoughts already about it before we begin. This one's been doing the rounds. I've seen this one posted to Reddit. I saw this one posted to Facebook, to Twitter. I think I even saw it on the official forums, and you guys know what those guys are like. So there were some pretty crazy comments about it. Now, we're going to be jumping in. We're going to be reacting to this content. Now, this is a very special video that Fitzbro's posted. So I thought I'd do the same thing. I'd match the speciality. I'd get my face out. And not only that, but I'd give you guys the holographic version, the Drongo without a beard. It is the rarest Drongo that there is. Now, this video is special for another reason, ladies and gentlemen, because today, this video is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Some of you guys might not know this, but I'm a huge fan of RPGs. With Raid Shadow Legends, I've got an RPG in my pocket, and you can too. Raid is a turn-based RPG, which means if you find it hard to commit to a 30-minute long game of Age of Empires, Raid has got you covered because you can pick it up and put it down any second you like. Use my QR code or links below to download Raid yourself to your mobile phone or PC. They just added a massive special event where you can get your hands on Deliana, who, by the way, is a legendary champion, and you can get it for free. All you have to do is log in and play Raid for 7 days between now and July 28th. Deliana is one of the strongest support champions in the game, so you don't want to miss your chance to pick her up for free. Once you're in-game, you can use the promo code MyDeliana to get 50 XP brews to max her to level 50, as well as tons of silver. You gotta go fast though, because the promo code is available now, but only through to July 20th. But if you're like me and huge AoE spells are more your thing, well, you're gonna love Ithos. When it comes to AoE nukers, Ithos is a must-have. He's got 2 powerful AoE attacks, but if Ithos ain't your style, and you're more of a, let's say, a dwarf kind of guy, then Herndig has got you covered. He is an insane nuker who requires a bit of luck, but if you can get that crit, he will smash the entire enemy team. So in addition to the 5 badass new champions they're bringing out this month, they're also overwhelming the champion vault and have a bunch of awesome smaller updates like these insanely cool Trunda skins. There's never been a better time to start playing Raid. So if you're new, use my link or scan the QR code right here, and you'll get a free starter pack worth almost $30, a free champion Vergies, and also this cool in-game loot. A huge thank you to Raid for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to it. G'day, fellas. Are the developers killing Age of Empires 4? Well, we're about to find out what Fitzbro thinks, and we're going to be reacting to it along the way, so let's get to it.
What the hell is going on with Age of Empires 4?
Good question.
This is something I keep asking day after day as we see misstep after misstep by the Age of Empires 4 community team and developers.
So he's talking about ranked. I think that's what he's talking about. So July 4, obviously, it's just happened. It's gone past, and the developers on a long weekend in the United States were like, you know what, we're going to just turn off ranked queue, and we're going to split the seasons between it. So all the people, and the Steam sale as well. So it's like a triple own goal. You got a Steam sale, games on sale, cheaper price, and then you've got like the long weekend for the United States. So everyone's jumping in there, and they're like, ranked queue disabled? Why is ranked queue disabled? Because it's in between seasons? Oh, well, I'll just refund it. Why? Well, I don't want to play. Anyway, that's what he's talking about. Let's find out a bit more what he thinks.
And just the entire lack of communication about what is the direction of the game. Today we find out that Ranked Season 1 has come to the end. We knew it was coming to the end.
Yep.
But we all assumed all week perhaps we'd be getting a new patch.
Yep.
Maybe new patch notes.
Yep.
Maybe Season 2 will start right away, or maybe there'll be...
I don't know about right away. I was thinking 1 week. I thought they'll give it like, they'll drop patch notes on the day that the Season 1 finishes, and then after a week, like maybe even release the patch 1 day after that, and then enable ranked 1 week after. We got 2 weeks.
A little bit of gap, but we thought we would know something, and we've just left it in the dark, and now know there will be 0 ranked play for the next week. You've got to play quick play, and those beautiful maps that we know are in the quick play pool. Not to mention, this is in the middle of a giant qualifier event for the biggest Age of Empires 4 tournament ever, that Road to Red Bull Wolo, which
That's true.
I'm going to be casting this Saturday on EGC TV.
Oh.
But is also, for the United States, a holiday weekend. People are off on Monday. It's a long weekend, and Age of Empires 4 is currently on sale. Wouldn't that be a great...
This is not pre-watched. You want to know the reason why I know July 4? It's my anniversary date. That's the reason why. Because it came up July 4. I'm like, oh, July 4. Like, why are they doing it on July 4? There you go.
Time for a new patch, some excitement for the game, maybe even some patch notes, or a YouTube video about exciting upcoming things. But we get none of that.
To be fair,
what is going on with...
To be fair, their original YouTube videos were pretty good. They were done by... I think they were done by Barbecue Turkman, who's an Australian guy. And they were actually very good for like the Civ overviews.
The team, in October, the game was launched in what many of us know was an incomplete state. It was riddled with balance issues, bugs, no ranked, maps, pools were horrendous. All kinds of things were going on. I don't need to go over. We know the launch was botched. We lost a giant player base. The viewers were like up here for this game when it came out. The players, there were so many. And it is like down to this right now. And by the daily, it is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And most of those players are never coming back.
I'm just going to pause Fitzbro right there. I don't agree with that. I think that these sort of things go through ebbs and flows, and games can come back to life. We saw that with Apex Legends. It was a game that came out, whole bunch of hype. Everybody dived into it, and then it kind of fell off. Nobody was interested. But they've managed to build it back up now. It's got a pretty decent following at the moment. I think it's possible for Age of Empires 4. I might be hooked up to the copium right now, but I do think it's possible. I don't think that these people have, completely signed out. I think you throw in a few new civs, you're going to start to get people excited, do a few sponsorships with the big streamers, all that sort of stuff. Then maybe you got yourself a ballpark, release it as free to play, and my God, you're going to have people just swimming in. But, I mean, that's a whole different story. Those people, will they be coming back? Yeah, I think, we'll throw in DLC, and I think they will.
They might consider giving it a try when some new civilizations are launched.
Okay.
But guess what? We just got our new roadmap for Age of Empires 4 recently, and no mention of civilizations on there at all. We got a little wink from a developer in a developer stream the other day saying that they gave us a hint that maybe there'll be civs, but we all assume there are going to be new civs eventually. Like, it isn't...
Exactly what he's saying is right. You assume that there's new civs. Like, they're not going to release a game and just be like, no new civs. Like, this is not StarCraft where we have 3 races, that's it, and we try and balance it perfectly. It is not the case here. The expectation is that you would have a new civ at the very least every year. And beyond that, I would be saying, like, okay, probably 2 to 3 civs each year. I would expect expansion packs to be coming out for Age of Empires 4, which they're obviously going to be charging through the roof for, and so that's probably not going to, get a lot of bites, but there might be people.
News that there are going to be, right? We know that at some point there's going to be new civilizations.
Yeah.
But when? Wouldn't that have been great to see on a roadmap for November, December of this year to see new civilizations being launched? And maybe it's going to be there. But why not hype up the fan base now during a sale to get people to check out the game again? Give it a try. Maybe try out a new patch over a holiday weekend. I just don't understand the decisions. It just seems like it's either non-actions going on, either like they're not doing anything by not communicating, right? Nothing's going on, but they're not doing anything positive ever to make any hype for this game. And I almost get the feeling like there isn't even a desire for it to be a whole lot more successful.
I would agree to some extent. I would start by saying it's important you understand Microsoft's business model, not the developers' business model, because the developers, my understanding is the developers just are the contractors for Microsoft. Microsoft, the publisher, they own the rights to Age of Empires 4. They basically, they're like the landlords, okay? And then the developers are the gardeners that come around. And the landlord says, hey, can you come around every 2 weeks and trim the hedges? And then the developers come around and they trim the hedges every 2 weeks. And you get mad because your hedges are getting trimmed every 2 weeks when you want it done every week. Well, don't get mad at the guy who trims the hedge. He's just getting paid to do what he was told to do. Now, I know this has gone in a whole opposite direction to where you're probably thinking, but I guess the point is that Microsoft have got a different plan for Age of Empires 4 than what the developers have got, at least from my understanding of the way that this relationship would work. For Age of Empires 4, and I've said this before, it serves as a carrot for people to hook themselves up to Games Pass, Xbox Games Pass. Pay a little bit of money, get that subscription fee, get that subscription, and then, you know, there's all these great games that you can play. Age of Empires 4, Forza, Halo, you know, all the games, all the great games. And Age of Empires 4 is just another plaque on the wall of that service. And so for them to have it there, you know, it looks good, but that doesn't necessarily motivate players. It doesn't necessarily motivate player bases. So I don't remember what the initial point was. I'd have to rewind it and go back and check. I remember it now. But I don't think, I think he may be right, because the developers right now, they're just doing what they're told. And Microsoft will just say, hey, add more civs. Okay, what civs do you want to add? Look, it's up to you. You got creative freedom. Just add more civs. Add 2 new civs for Christmas next year. We're going to do a big deal, or we want to do an expansion. That's it. That's how it works. Is there a greater look? Is there a greater sort of overview to it? Yeah, well, of course there is. I mean, we got Red Bull LOL that's getting supported by Microsoft. We've got N4C, Golden League, a lot of big tournaments that are coming out for Age of Empires 4. So it feels like their heart is in the right place, but their head, it seems to be focused on Games Pass. At least that's the way I see it. But I digress. Let's find out more what Fitzbro has said.
It's getting better. I commend the devs for the amazing patches we have had month after month.
Correct.
It's been getting better and better. But still, the number one missing piece, which I've mentioned months ago, 6 months ago, the communication. Why can't they just let the fan base know what's going on? Have a conversation. Maybe take some action off that. Maybe quicker action sometimes when it really feels like it's needed. Yep. There's big issues right now with the
I'm going to cut Fitz off here because I got to agree with it. This is a big factor, and I feel like there are so many things that just aren't communicated to us as players. I'll give you an example. I got drop kicked against. So somebody disconnected intentionally against me, and they got the win for it. And I looked through their match history, and I saw in the past 10 games that they'd played, they'd done that 5 times. They won every single game except for 1. So some of those games they would have won legitimately, but 5 times they had disconnected, because it comes up saying that it's a disconnect, but they're awarded the victory. I report that player. I messaged the devs. I'm like, hey, is there anything I could do? I got absolute crickets from them. Me. And I don't say that from an elevated status. I say that as a person with a back line to the developers. What are people on Reddit, on the official forums going to get, let alone a person who submits a report? You know, we often joke about that the report going through to the trash. It feels terrible. I don't know if you guys have played League of Legends, but when you report a player, it gives you instant feedback when it processes it. And, you know, like, let's say someone is intentionally ruining your game and 3 or 4 people report him, it's like, bam, instant feedback has been issued. The player that you recently reported has been, you know, issued a warning or has been issued a suspension. Man, that feels good. Doesn't that feel good? That feels so damn good. And that kind of communication is something that the developers at the moment are sorely missing. Can you name the community managers at the moment? I know Elliot. I think that's probably about it. The only reason I know Elliot is from the Twitch streams that he does. But realistically, I don't see any other comms from the devs on massive issues. And for me, that, like, players cheating, I don't even think we've had the developers like acknowledge that as an issue. But look, let's move on. Let's see what Fitz is going to say.
Ranked ladder with players disconnecting and drop hacking to scheme the game.
Okay.
And a number of other things. You can take a scroll down Reddit. But I just want to see some type of hype for this game. I've been making content for it since September, and I still am, and I still will. I'm just telling you the truth about how I'm feeling and likely how many of you are feeling. Why can't we get something positive about this game? It's something to try to lift it up and be like, I'm trying to tell people how awesome it is, and then it's like, oh, look, there's another weird decision by the dev team. So let me know down in the...
So I think to an extent, I mean, what Fitz is saying is 100% on the money, but I think it's also important to remember that the devs don't necessarily equal Microsoft, and these two guys have got different visions, because developers, they might have a passion for the project, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to do something outside the scope of what your contract is. If your contract says, we need functional hotkeys in the game, you put functional hotkeys in the game. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to map every single hotkey. They don't say, like, you know, if the contract doesn't say fully functional or fully mapped functional hotkeys for every single command, then that's different. But it all comes down to the contracts, and unfortunately, that's just the reality of modern day games. But I think the big part for me are other developers killing Age of Empires 4. I don't think the answer is yes on that one. I think the publishers are killing Age of Empires 4. And to me, it's interesting. As I mentioned earlier, I think it comes down to Xbox Game Pass. When you look at Age of Empires 4 right now, Steam charts, Age of Empires 4 is dropping down to the same level of players on Steam. Now, this is not on Xbox Game Pass. Who knows? Maybe there's 50 million people playing on Xbox Game Pass, and they're all just playing on a server that's different from us Steam users. But I don't know about you. But every single time I go in the queue, I get the same Conqueror 3 guy who's in the top 10, Lee Nock. Every single time. And I'm like, Lee Nock, I haven't queued up for a month, and I'm getting you. I came here for a simple game. I'm hoping to play against somebody, ranked 12,000, and I get Lee Nock. It's like, is there nobody else playing this game? It's just me and Lee Nock? The point is, though, that the player base has continued to dwindle, and a big part of that is the price point for Age of Empires 4. Developers don't control that. The publishers control that. Now, the reason it's set so high is to incentivize you to go over to Xbox Game Pass. So that's part of the reason why. So are the developers killing Age of Empires 4? I don't think so. I don't think they are. I think it's the publishers. And I think that the best thing that you could do right now if you wanted to rebuild Age of Empires 4, the best thing you could do right now at this very second, Age of Empires 4 free to play. That is it. And I know that there's people that are going to whinge and cry and say, oh, but it's a AAA game. Oh, it's worth, it's worth at least $20. I don't care what it's worth. What is worth is people playing your game. When you queue up, do you know what? You want to know one of the reasons why they're slow to add in these big ranked queues? It's because of the player base. When you dilute the player base, you get these longer queue times, and it gets absolutely terrible. And so if you've got a bigger player base, you can afford to do those things. A bigger player base is going to attract more viewers on things like Twitch, which is going to get more tournaments, which is going to subsequently get more people seeing that. It's a whole ecosystem that really begins to work. But the key there is going to be that free to play. Now, when you talk about monetization, what's the best way to monetize? I would go for something similar to what StarCraft has done. They doubled their player count overnight by going free to play. They increased their revenue a huge amount by charging people for the missions, by charging things for cosmetics. Let's do it. Let's do it. That is the best thing that you can do. But the reason why it will not happen is because of Xbox Game Pass. That is the true reason. In my opinion, it might happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see Age of Empires 2. I don't think Age of Empires 2 is on Xbox Game Pass, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Age of Empires 2 go free to play, because they have no disincentive from doing it. If they go free to play, then all of a sudden there's a plaque on the wall for Xbox Game Pass that gets taken down. But for Age of Empires 2, if that plaque's not up on the wall, then they don't really need to worry about that. So I think that's a big factor. Let's hear what else Fitz has got to say.
The comments section, how you're feeling about Age of Empires 4. What you thought about Season 1? What about Season 2?
I'll be honest, Season 1, it was fun. I was really enjoying the grind. I was sitting at Diamond 3. I was working towards Conqueror, China only, trying my hardest. And obviously, everyone got plus 7,000 points, and everyone became Conqueror. And I just lost all motivation. It was kind of weird. I guess it's strange how that works, because I'm sure there would have been a lot of people that gained motivation to play. But for me, I was like, I was enjoying that grind. I know that there would have been a lot of people that were in bronze, that were in silver, that were quite literally stuck in there. And I'm not even saying stuck, hard stuck. Quite literally stuck. The mathematics just simply make it so that you're stuck. But obviously, the consequence of that is I think that the top 1,000 people are now all Conqueror. And when you've only got 10,000 people playing your game, feels kind of weird.
What are your concerns? And definitely, what are you excited about? I am looking forward to Season 2 and the updates that are likely going to be there. I wish we knew when that was going to be dropping, and that's where my frustration is today, making this video.
I'm looking forward to Season 2 as well. I'm not looking forward to the China nerfs. I'll be honest with you. I'm not even going to say nerfs. I'm just going to say redesign. I don't like the pyrotechnics redesign at all, and I will not. Hey, are the developers killing China in Age of Empires 4? Hell yeah, they are. Publishers, nothing to do with that. It's the developers, so we'll blame them for that. They are Mongol mains, as you guys know. So we'll definitely answer that question.
Thinking that we were going to have our hands on this by the end of the week, if not by at least next week. But it sounds like we're going to have even a longer wait than that. And I know it's just a week, it's not a big deal. But it's just the way that this has been rolled out. It just seems It's just so weird. Everything is just like, what is going on with Age of Empires 4? Thank you so much for watching this video. We just hit 10K subscribers on the YouTube channel, and that's a big part to all of you viewers from the AoE3 and AoE4.
All right, well, I think that's the end of the video. I'm going to link Fitz's channel in the description so you guys can go over there, give it a like, leave a comment, let him know what you think as well. Because remember, the devs do actually keep their ears to the ground. They listen to this sort of stuff, even though they might not, say it. They definitely do listen. They definitely do watch it. They do read the comments, and it sucks because I know that there's a lot of devs that will watch this video, and I want to give a big shout out to you guys because I know you guys are putting in the hard yards. I know you guys are doing serious work back there. Are the developers killing Age of Empires 4? No. Are the publishers killing Age of Empires 4? Definitely. That's not me trying to sour my personal relationship with Microsoft. That's me trying to save Age of Empires 4 from falling into the graveyard of player base, because at the moment it seems destined to do that, and it doesn't look like there's any way out. Well, fellas, I'll leave you guys with it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.